On the early morning of the 27th August 1896, the shortest war ever recorded in human history happened, and it lasted for 38 minutes. Okay, so now the date is 27th of August 1896. It's a Thursday, not like the day matters now. Early morning of that particular day, something remarkable happened. Something very remarkable happened. The shortest war between two countries happened on this day. Now, when I say shortest war, it was just about 38 minutes. What? 38 minutes? Seriously? Now, this made me thinking, why? Why even bother? Not to compare, but even a Netflix show, when an episode finishes within 40 minutes. So I'm not trying to compare, a Netflix show and a war where many people died. But why? Why even bother to do a war, which is just 40 minutes, 38 minutes to be precise? Why? Why? Okay, so we need to backtrack a few years where it all began. A treaty, an agreement was signed between the German Empire and the Great Britain. Now, as per this agreement, Germany got control over Heligoland, which is a small archipelago in the North Sea, and mainland Tanzania. Now, what did the Great Britain get, you ask? Yes, they got, authority. Or better to say, they became a protectorate over Zanzibar. So now you see where the story is going. Oh wait, you might think, what's a protectorate? Okay, a protectorate is a state that is controlled and protected by, another state. Basically, what that means is me, the Great Britain, will not rule you, but will rule you. What? So what I mean by this is that Great Britain will place a puppet ruler in the place of the Sultan, and he does everything what the British says him to do. So they found the right candidate in Ali bin Said, who was Sultan from 1890 to 1893 until his death, after which another guy, Hamad bin Tuwaini, who had already been in good terms with the British, becomes the Sultan in 1893 and has a pretty much good and peaceful time as a Sultan until he died on 25th of August 1896. Now, some of the people believe that he might have been poisoned by his cousin Khalid bin Bargash. Khalid bin Bargash. You know what? Just remember that name. Okay, so now the point is this Khalid, he moves into the palace and takes over possession of the Sultan without the British approval. Oh, the British doesn't like that. So as expected, the British, does not like it. As per the previously signed treaty, remember the treaty? They had full veto power to, appoint Sultan whom they favored. Khalid was not one of them. The British warns him and asks him to stand down. Nah. Okay, so let's just stop right there. So if you see, Khalid is a 29-year-old guy. He's hot-blooded. He's very, violent. He's very fierce. He doesn't want anyone else from another country coming and ruling his own country. You could call him patriotic. But was he? Did he just want power? We'll never know. Okay, let's get on. So by the end of this particular day, he organizes an army of almost 3,000 men, most of whom were civilians. Talk about influencing. Also apart from the people, he even came up with a lot of weapons, like, a couple to be mentioned, like the Maxim machine guns, a Gatling gun, 17th century bronze cannons, and two 12-pounder field guns. That's very funny because this 12-pounder guns were previously gifted to the Sultan by Wilhelm II, who was the German emperor. Now Khalid even managed to take control of a ship from the Zanzibar Navy, the HHS Glasgow, and aimed it right at the British ships just outside in the harbour. At this point in time, points to the British as well. So they did try convincing Khalid a couple of times. They did try sending messages to him. They didn't want a war. They just wanted to take over peacefully. But so now the story continues at about 3 p.m. on that Tuesday, 25th of August, right after the previous Sultan, the one who just died last night. Right after he was buried, Khalid takes over. He plants his flag, he takes over the palace completely and declares himself Sultan. So now the British had no other choice but give him until 9 a.m., which is the 27th of August, asking him to, take his flag, take his people, and leave. Otherwise, there would be war. Again, as expected, Khalid does not listen. Now, if you see from the point of view of Khalid, he thinks the British would not attack. The British would just play it safe. That's not what happened. On the next day morning, 8:30, Khalid, finally sends a message to the British Council stating, and I quote, "We have no intention of hauling down our flag and we do not believe you would open fire on us." To which the British did reply, "We do not want to open fire, but unless you do as you were told, we shall certainly do so." But then there was no other response from Khalid, and on 9 a.m. on that day morning, the British Council gave an order for war to attack the palace. General Lloyd Matthews from the British troop ordered fire. 3 British ships, Raccoon, Thrush, and Sparrow, opened fire at the palace and sunk his ship. Just within 38 minutes, Sultan, the short-lived Sultan's flag was cut down. About 500 Zanzibari men and women were killed or wounded during this short war. Khalid bin Bargash fled to the German consulate nearby, because of which the British couldn't, outright capture him. But he did get captured, but many years later, many years later. But because of this, heroic act by the British Navy, no one ever had the guts to stand against them, fight against them. For another 67 years, the protectorate continued. Many things have changed now in Zanzibar. Zanzibar is not the place which it used to be earlier. It's now, it's a beautiful place. It's famous for its exotic beaches, famous spice plantations. But if you just think about it, that was one hell of a story for a small war. I hope you like this video. If you liked it, please do give it a like and share it to your friends. More interesting videos coming your way. See you. Bye bye.